a very good evening to all of you. Today is the third day of our presentation, and I am going to present a topic which is economic perspective in Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice. This is my personal details that you can see here. These are some important points which I am going to deal with in my today's entire presentation. They are about Jane Austen, a brief overview about the novel, economic perspective, how the theme of money reflects in the novel, purpose of my presentation and conclusion. I would like to start my presentation with the introduction about Jane Austen. Jane Austen was born in the parsonage of the village in the year 1775. With her sisters, she was educated at home and passed her life very quietly, cheerfully in the doing of small domestic duties. She began to write at an early age of her life. Miss Austen appears to have begun writing with the idea of presenting the life of English country society. So, Jane Austen was an English novelist. She primarily known for her six major novels. They were Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, and the last one is Persuasion. These are her major six novels. In the book of William J. Long, Sir Walter Scott stated about Jane Austen by saying that young lady has a talent for describing the involvements and feelings and characters of ordinary life, which is to me the most wonderful I ever met with. So we can understand that it is a talent of Jane Austen that she used to describe the characters of ordinary life in her works. A brief overview about the novel Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice has a charmed place as the most popular of Jane Austen's novels. It considered as the greatest novel of her. This novel achieves an ideal relation between the individual and society. The novel published on 28 January in the year 1830. Pride and Prejudice regarded as the most widely read of her novels. So, Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice is very famous among all of us because we all are aware about this novel. This novel is all about an ideal relation between the individual and how society will react upon this. Throughout the novel, there was a development of the two of the major characters. First one is Mrs. Elizabeth Bennet and second one was Darcy, and both are the protagonists of our novel. Economic perspective. The economic difference we can find in lots of Austen women and Austen men was certainly striking. The novel Pride and Prejudice is one of them because economic perspective was present in this novel. Mr. Darcy belonging from upper class and Bennet family members of the middle class. So the theme of social class and money reflects in our present novel. Pride and Prejudice did not go far, and Austen's letters for that year, as for every year, are full of references to small economics. So our author Jane Austen used to write letters for that year are full of references to small economics, and in our contemporary time we can relate these things because whenever there was a conversation like relationships and marriage, economic perspective is still exist because we can see that when there is a conversation about marriage and relationship, the first aspect we will notice about each other's social status, that how financially is he or she stable in her life. How the theme of money reflects in the novel. One of the hardest concepts for today's reader to grasp in Jane Austen's novels are economic realities of the times. A great deal has been written about the socio-economic identities and circumstances of Jane Austen's characters. Though Pride and Prejudice can be read as a delightful romance, but properly understood, the romance camouflages a grimy realistic depiction of the dismal position of women in Austen's society. Money plays a very vital role in this novel. So the theme of money is very important in our present novel, and money plays very vital role in Pride and Prejudice. Though it is a story about a delightful romance between Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, that first they both had a pride and prejudice towards each other, but in the last ending part of the novel, they both realize their love for each other and forget about their pride and prejudice. Money was to support women and also their families. In the novel, Mrs. Bennet is very much concerned with fortune in which her daughters will marry into. She tries as much that she can to find good and well-off husbands for her daughters. She also tried her best to convince about this to her husband, Mr. Bennet. Her prayers are that one day all her five daughters will be financially secure. It is truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in a want of wife. This line proves that women were to be married to rich men in order to be financially secure, as the society will never allow them to work, inherit, or own their own property. This theme we can relate it with one film Shadi Mein Zarur Aana, in which Rajkumar Rao's mother told that इस परिवार की बहुएं काम नहीं करती क्योंकि हमारा बेटा जो है वो सरकारी दफ्तर में ही काम करता है. So the thing is totally wrong that my son is financially secure, then you don't have to work for it, because girls also have their own passion and their also dreams. So this thing is completely wrong, and we can relate it with our present novel Pride and Prejudice. Purpose of my presentation: in today's time we can see that this economical aspects affects very much in marriages. We still believed that marriages always happen between those who belongs to same status and position. When we talked about relationships and marriages, generally people are fond of sound financial position of the opposite one. But I personally believed that when the two persons truly loved each other, the things of social status and economic doesn't matter that much. Conclusion: to conclude my point, I would like to say that this economic aspect is not that much bad in the concept of marriages, but when it leads to selfishness and pride, then it is a bit problematic thing, because when the two persons truly love each other, other things like social status and financial differences doesn't matter. That right now in contemporary time we can see that the wish of every parents is that our child financially secure, they both are in a well position. Every mother father want these things, but when it leads to selfishness and pride, because we want to marry someone because we love that person, I mean, if only the advantage is of money, then it is a problematic thing, and we should not do that only because of the other person is very financially very wealthy, and only because of that reason I want to marry him. That thing should not happen. These are my work citation, and if you have any question you can ask me.
Okay, questions to her will be asked in the comment and you reply there. Okay, I have one meeting to attend, so very quickly we'll have to wind up the thing. Let me give a quick feedback. Give
Okay.
the answers in the comment.